What's up, friendly neighborhood nerds? Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell.
What's up, friendly neighborhood nerds? This is Judah Rad. I'm chilling here with Robo. Unfortunately, Rhea is feeling a little bit under the weather, under the weather, so she can't make it. But send her your love in the comments. She'll be
Positive
back.
energy, hopes and
Send
prayers.
send positive energy, send hopes, and if you must, send some prayers. And hopefully, she'll be back up to speed sooner than you can count. Sooner than you could shake a leg at, or whatever that is people say. Anyway, we got a special episode. We are looking at a Valiant Comics Doctor Tomorrow first look. Anyway, so
So we're talking about Doctor Tomorrow. All right. So if you guys don't know, we're pretty much big deals now. We're on Valiant's press list. So we get every now and then they'll bring us let us read a comic book early. I'm pretty sure the intention is for us to talk about it.
Before you.
Yeah. So I mean, not to rub it in or anything, but the intention is for us to read it, talk about it here, get you guys hyped up. But I will be honest, if it sucks, we'll just tell you it sucks. Today's comic book doesn't suck.
Does not suck.
It's about Doctor Tomorrow. So Doctor Tomorrow, dude named Bart Simmons. He's not Bart Simpson.
Bart Sims.
Bart Sims. Bart goes back in time to get a young Bart in order to help him fight his old mentor turned villain Hadrian. A lot of loops and turns and plot twists that go along with this story. Not exactly a time heist, but it is a time conundrum. You know, I don't know.
So there are some Avengers Endgame concepts at play here in the sense that going back in time doesn't go you don't go back in your time, you go back in another time,
Right.
and then another time, and these are all different dimensions.
Sure.
And yeah, and they do go into some of the lore and the pseudoscience, or we shouldn't say pseudoscience. What is that other thing that we say that's not pseudoscience?
Sci-fi science.
The sci-fi science,
Yeah.
yes. So they show us this image of like the multiverse, and it's kind of like this flower, this blossoming flower. And the idea is that these are all nearly identical universes with very, very subtle changes. And the similarity, the difference or the similarity depends on how far apart in age the universe is. So a universe, two very young universes that sprouted around the same time, very subtle, almost unnoticeable differences. Universes that sprung out at very wildly different times, you'll have differences that are so severe that on some Earths, you might not even have an Earth. You might have like a dead planet, and Mars is the planet that's populated. So
Absolutely. Yeah. So issue number 4 of this brand new series is coming out July 29th. But before we get into that, let's just go. You want to go like quick down and dirty issue by issue summary of where we're at so far, and then we'll talk about issue 4. You want to do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
So issue 1, we're kind of introduced to we're really dropped into the middle of chaos. There's a huge fight. You got all of the Valiant heroes battling some super powerful being,
right,
and losing. And it's everyone, I mean, there's the Bloodshot's there, Exo Manowar's there, Eternal Warrior, Faith. Yeah, they're all just getting beaten to a pulp by this super powerful being. And then he puts this powerful crystal into his chest, and everyone's like, no, not that! But it's too late, and he explodes in this like blast of energy that consumes the entire universe that this fight's happening in.
Yeah. And then we get a flashback to young Bart Sims, right? So that blast that he's talking about, right before that happens, this individual is not taking names at all. Major Valiant in this particular instance. So you're kind of left to assume that this is not the reality, right? The prime Earth or whatever Valiant calls it, because these heroes are getting disintegrated. You'll watch boom, and there's their skeletons, they're gone, right? So then we go into a flashback and we see this kid who you find out is a young Bart Sims, and he's with his best friend Gretchen, and they're playing baseball. Then what I call, because this is different, this is gonna get, you gotta follow, it's gonna get a little bit confusing. But then all of a sudden, in front of Bart Sims comes a young adult Bart Sims, Doctor Tomorrow, that says, "Hey, I need your help."
Right, and Doctor Tomorrow gives him his own suit and kind of turns him. He's like, "You're a superhero now," in so many words.
Yeah.
And their goal is to protect the universe.
That's
and
right.
And it's kind of wild. It's a lot of it. It's a play on like the old Nova, or like any. It's kind of one of my favorite superhero genres. But when someone normal finds out that they're special, someone finds out that you are the chosen one,
Right.
you are the one. So it's kind of like.
And he also has a shitty family life too. His mom's dead. Apparently, she died of cancer, and then the father is absent because the father is dealing with that grief, but unfortunately dealing with the grief in a way that neglects Bart Sims at the same time. So that segues right in. Part of that whole end of issue 1 is that guy we saw at the beginning, we find out is Dr. Tomorrow's mentor, Hadrian.
Not to be confused with Adrian from Rocky 1, 2.
Right, and he never screams Hadrian at all, which I think is really a missed beat, honestly. But so we got that leads us right into issue 2, which the whole first half, if this was a movie, would be the first half of it anyway would be a training montage. How does the suit work? What is the powers? And it's basically right. Yeah, and then it teaches us, like, okay, here's his limitations, here's what the suit can do. So,
and what his mission is. So yeah, we get to know a little bit more about Gretchen and their relationship, friendship, or whatever.
Seems like she's pretty important.
She's very important, yeah. And then, so to kind of go into issue 3 before we all caught up and we start talking about issue 4, there was one thing that I wanted to talk about, and I don't know how important this is. But at one point, when Dr. Tomorrow shows up to help the heroes of what we can assume is our reality battle this Hadrian character, he walks in, and he's like, "Hey, so do you guys have none of you guys are going to be able to hurt him because he relies on physical concepts that are different laws of physics,
sci-fi, science.
So he technobabble science stuff.
Yeah.
You can't hurt him." Do you guys happen to have a Man of Tomorrow? Now, certain people might...
Man of the Atom.
Man of the Atom. God, I'm
Yeah.
so fucking stupid. Yeah, the Man of the... You guys don't happen to have a Man of the Atom, right? And they're like, silence, and he's like, ooh, okay, well, this is a direct reference to old school 90s Valiant. Before the title got sold to... it went to Dark Horse, and then now it's with Dynamite. Before that, there was a character attached to the old Valiant universe called Solar Man of the Atom. So this is a reference to him, and it's interesting because who knows? Is there a surprise in store for us? Are we somehow going to see Solar re-enter this post-2012 Valiant universe? Or maybe not.
So Dynamite owns Man of the Atom now, right? So that would be awesome to see some sort of, how we're always asking for a Marvel DC thing. How awesome would it be to see some sort of Valiant Dynamite crossover event? That would be pretty dope. So past that whole thing, they go into the big fights, right? So here's the big event. One of the things that we did find out is that Hadrian is yet a third version of Bart Sims, and we find out as Hadrian, he's like, oh, is that what he told you, right? He's talking to the child Bart Sims, right? So we got young adult Bart Sims, child Bart Sims, and the old man, not old man, but regular, middle-aged, my age, so regular-aged, Hadrian, who's like, oh, is that what he told you? Here's what's really happening. And then it turns out he's also Bart Sims. Big fight. Turns out that the young adult Bart Sims is actually a bad guy and blasts child, which I was actually surprised at when I was like, oh my god, because it's not like this is some like titties and blood image title or something. This is a run of the, I don't want to say run of the mill, like it's pretty awesome, but a comic book title.
It's a comic book that's meant to be sold for young adults. It's not.
Sure.
Or it's not crossed. You know what I mean?
Right. And so it's all of a sudden here comes this child. Boom, evaporated, and then it's like a crater's left behind. So I was like, oh, wow, okay. And so they go at it, and then we, I'm sorry. And then the big reveal at the end of issue 3 is
that he's
young adult, another young adult. So everyone's like, 3 Bart Sims, right? So 3 Bart Sims, child is evaporated. The young adult was the bad guy all along. The older dude is also Bart Sims. Like, what? So turn to the last page of issue number 3. A 4th Bart Sims is like, I'm here to help. And then we go into issue number 4.
And issue number 4, we learn 2 major things, and we're not going to spoil them for you, but there are 2 major reveals. One of them is that stuff that you may have seen in previous issues might not be what it appears. And then the other thing is you're going to learn a lot more about this 4th Bart Sims.
Yeah, so pretty awesome. We do go into Gretchen. We get introduced to an older version of Gretchen, who is now an accomplished scientist, and her involvement with the whole Doctor Tomorrow becomes extremely important. We will throw up some panels so you can check out the artwork and maybe kind of scan for some. We're gonna try to not do any spoilers, but maybe you could pick something out in there as it's on screen as I'm talking right now. But what would you say? Would you say this is a go by? I would.
This is definitely a go by story. I've been reading my way through all of Valiant. I started with Exo Manowar #1, Venditti Exo Manowar.
Yeah.
And I've literally been following the chronological reading order, which you can find on our website, of trades. So I'm not caught up, but I am jumping ahead to read some of these newer titles because I have to.
Right.
Right. And this is really great. I can't wait to read this again in like a couple months with fully fresh headcanon.
Like knowing the entire universe behind it. The writer is Alejandro Arbona, artist Jim Tao, sorry, and colorist Diego Rodriguez and Kelly Fitzpatrick, and letterer. I know that there are other letterers. I know there are. I've seen them, but it appears that Clayton Cowles letters every comic book ever across any brand ever. That's
Dude, that guy is the most. He is the most prolific person working in comics. There's
no way he has a life. Like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Lettering my 1 millionth comic. That's what
comics would have no dialogue or exposition if it wasn't for Clayton Cowles. You know what I mean? Like, what do they do? What do they do without him? He can't retire, that's for sure.
So that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's pretty much it.
What do you guys? What do you think about? What do you think this is about, Robo? I have some ideas, but I want to hear yours first.
So, honestly, it's, not to get too deep into things. Well, I'm not going to get deep into things. I don't know if there is a deep "what is this about" type deal. I think this is a fun. My brain keeps going to Time Heist because of MCU, and I apologize, but I think it's like a fun time. People like time travel, and I think it's just a fun story to tell about it.
I think it's undoubtedly a fun story, but I also think it's about choices and what there's all this. People always have this conversation of, is it nature versus nurture? Are people inherently bad, or do people become bad through their experiences, or what makes someone good? And I feel like this kind of explores the same person over and over, and we see what could possibly what factors determine how they end up and what they are.
Sure.
And I still don't know what perspective the book's coming from yet, but I feel like that's if we're gonna assign some kind of subtext to it, I feel like that is the concept this book is attempting to explore.
I did find it interesting in the first couple of issues how it ends up that the most magnanimous guy who's does this William Wallace kind of speech to Valiant's greatest heroes is the guy who ends up being the bad guy. Not that has never happened before in literature, but I think they did a really good job here kind of twisting that. Even when the reveal comes after Hadrian gets his face scarred, so his physical appearance even becomes disfigured, and when he's at his most grotesque, you find out who the bad guy really is. And so yeah, I like that. You're probably right.
And this so Valiant kind of has a long track record of subverting expectations. I would say, comparing it to the Big Two, Valiant does not. Sometimes you read a Big Two story, and it's frequent that you start the story knowing exactly how it's going to go, and that doesn't necessarily ruin the story. But one added bonus of Valiant is you start an arc like this, and you just really, really, truly have no idea how it's going to go, how it's going to end, or who's going to win, who's going to lose. So
what that does is it makes me start reading Valiant comics like the Sicilian in The Princess Bride, where I'm like, this is going to happen the way it looks like it's going to happen because they know I'm expecting them to change it. But if they know that I'm expecting it, then they'll change it.
Right, you got it.
You just got to read it. It's enjoyable. They do a really good job. So
cool. Sweet. So just want to give a couple shout outs before we wrap things up. Want to give a shout out to Greg Katzman, who added us to the Valiant press list. Thank you. This is awesome. We love talking about this stuff, and we're really excited to talk about a lot more of it. Give some shout outs to Michael Malone for being a supportive member of the group and kind of getting us all into Valiant.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. You got anything else, George? Anyone else?
Yeah, of course we have Ree, and we have all the admins and moderators and contributors. I would say any of the creators who spend their time to come on the show. We just had Derek Hunter come on, and these people, even though it is a COVID time, are very busy, and we just want to thank you guys. I would say first and foremost, the most important people to thank are the people who subscribe and the people who watch this. Really appreciate your support and your clicks. So
cool.
We're out of here.
All right, peace, guys.
Follow our links and watch our show because you want to and not because of the threats. Thank you for watching Judah, Robo, and Ree. We talk about comics, movies, and TV. Sometimes we have notable guests, and sometimes it's just us. But we're also cool.